In this tutorial, we will show you step by step how to create a pivot table from scratch using Excel. In the following example, we will work with a list of insurance policies by agents. In there, we have the policy number, each of the agents sold, when was the policy opened, the information of each agent, and then the first, last name, and address of the new customers. Imagine hundreds or even thousands of records in an Excel spreadsheet. But you need to get the answers of your questions fast without having to do any manual work. You might have questions as to which state had the highest sales, or which was the top agent, and so forth. Before we insert a pivot table, let's take a minute and clean up the raw data in your Excel spreadsheet. The first step is to label your columns. Sometimes you're going to get raw data that you're going to have to manually insert the row and name those columns that you have. You can always rename these columns, by the way, once you have the pivot table. You need to remove any empty rows, but if you have hundreds of records, the easiest way to do this is to turn this information into a table. First, press in your keyboard the Control key and the letter A. But wait, if you look carefully here, Control A only takes you to the first empty row. This is not a good option if you have thousands of records and a lot of them are blank. But don't worry, there is a better way. To highlight all of the data, including the blank cells, go ahead and highlight just the first row, the very one on top. Then, as this is selected, you're going to press Control, Shift, and everything, including the blank cells, will be selected. While everything is selected or grayed, press Control T, and the next dialog appears to confirm the cell locations, and in this case we're going to check that my table has headers and click OK. Now the table has special filters, and even though we did not need to convert this data into a table, by the way, to sort it the way we did, I'm going to let you know soon why we chose this path. Since we want to delete the blank cells, just click on the policy number filter. Now let's search for the blank cells and click OK. Let's go ahead and highlight the 3 rows. Make sure they are selected or gray. And then we're going to delete them using the tool right from the Home tab. And now the last thing we need to do is to look for those duplicates. There are 2 ways of doing this, so pick the one that you feel it's better for your data. One way is to click anywhere in the table, go to the Data tab, and click Remove Duplicates. Since we're looking for double policy numbers, unselect the other columns. Just check Policy Numbers and click OK 2 times. There is another way that you can remove duplicates through conditional formatting. First, select the policy number column, go to the Home tab again, and click Conditional Formatting. Highlight Cell Rules, and check Duplicate Values. By default, it will be highlighted with red, but you can change the color if you want. In your table, you can filter by color and remove the duplicates by selecting them first, right-click, and press Delete. Now we're ready to start our pivot table. Also, if you're enjoying this video, remember to like and subscribe, and comment below. Let us know what Excel features would you like to learn about. Excel will let you create a pivot table even if you don't convert the data into a table like we did before. The table's advanced filters will let you find any information quickly and accurately, and even sort by the cell color or fonts. So this is one key feature of working with tables. If you add new information to the table and refresh the pivot table, the new information will be included. If you are actually using Office 365 and it's part of your company or your business, you can export the table easily into a SharePoint list. So that's another extra feature that comes with tables in Excel. Now, since the data looks clean, we turn it into a table for the reasons that we just mentioned. Now we just need to click anywhere inside this table, and then we're going to click the Insert tab, Pivot Table. We could insert the pivot table in the same worksheet, but typically we leave the default table 1 selection as is. Then we are going to add the pivot table in a new worksheet, which by the way you can rename later, and click OK. In the next step, the pivot table editor appears. The columns are now called fields, which is a traditional term when you work with data and database applications in Excel. You can either click on the fields of your choice or drag them down either as a filter, columns, rows, or values. For this example, look what happens when we just click State and Policy Amount, and then the data is going to be adjusted in a pivot table. Our pivot table already answered which state had the most cells. Notice that the Louisiana branch has the higher cells. We're just formatting them so you can see it better. Now let's dig a little deeper, as we want to know who was the top agent only in Louisiana. In this case, we just check the agent checkbox and look at the new pivot table. Seems that Barry Potter has the highest cells in the state of Louisiana. As I mentioned before, you can actually format and customize the pivot table in any way you need. So this time we're going to rename the columns by double-clicking on them and entering branch instead of row labels. What's so great about this feature is that you can format the pivot table's fonts, colors, and so forth. We also want to change the format of the sales column by changing them to accounting number format, and this is done in the Home tab in that general category. To finalize this section and make it a little bit more exciting, let's kick it up a notch. And let's pretend that my supervisor now wants to see the agents displayed in columns instead of the current rows. And they also want to see the percentage of sales per agent based on the grand total sales. Now, how can we fix this in the quickest and most efficient way possible without having to redo anything? First, we're going to drag the agent field under columns. In the rows section, notice that the agent row disappeared because Excel knows it's already under columns. Remember that the agents being displayed in individual columns is just the first part of the request. How can you show the percentages of sales per agent without having to create another column on the original table or start all over? You can now copy and paste pivot tables by clicking anywhere inside the table. You're going to select Control A to select the entire table. Then to copy, the shortcut to copy is Control C to go ahead and duplicate it. Since we want to keep this copy on the same worksheet, we can now select the cell A10 and just press enter. And now you have the copy of the pivot table above. To finish, click on any of the numbers inside the pivot table, including grand totals. Right-click it and select Show Values As. Then you're going to pick the percentage of grand total. And notice the other options available depending on your project. The new pivot tables are ready. We can easily see that the top agent from the entire agency, it's right there, and also the percentages as well. The best part is that any records that are added to the original data are going to appear as long as you click refresh on the pivot table, and then information will be included. To finalize this tutorial, and if you want to get more details on any of the cells of your pivot table, just double click on it and another worksheet will appear with the details of your search. We are including in the description of this video the sample file that you can use to practice. And thank you so much for watching. We will be releasing videos every week. And once again, let us know what other functionalities in Excel would you like to see. Thank you so much. Bye for now.